Alrighty then. We have the blood of the Dawnwalker reveal. Turn my headphones down a little bit. Because it's loud. Everything's working. Let's see what pops up here. Hopefully y'all having a groovy morning. For those who have been waiting for this game, it's basically a game of medieval times meets Blade. This is their first reveal. We are almost there. So let's get there.
Ever get that feeling that someone is watching you, even if you're like totally alone?
No matter the playstyle you decide on, it's all about immersion.
Yeah, okay, stop here.
We really did our best to create the world which feels real.
There's one more thing we have to do.
Yep, that's right now. The event. Let's get it.
Hi everyone and welcome to the Blood of Dawnwalker gameplay reveal event. My name is Dominika, I'm the community lead here at Rebel Wolves, and I am joined by a familiar face, a content creator, streamer, YouTuber, and my co-host for today, Lionheart.
Thank you so much, Dominika, and hello everybody. You are joining us here live in the Rebel Wolves studio once again, and this time on the first day of the astronomical summer.
Yeah.
Dominika, you guys really do think about these stream dates, don't you?
Yeah, I think it makes it a bit more fun, you know. We are going to talk about magic today, among other topics. And what's a better occasion than the summer solstice? This is supposed to be the day when our connection to magic is the strongest, and we have all these different rituals and celebrations connected to it, and to the sun and light in general.
That's true. I suppose it fits the theme really well. It adds a little bit more to that mystery. And of course, we want to thank all of you for joining us live today, whether you're watching along in our own stream or with one of the wonderful content creators who decided to co-stream this event. Welcome in, everybody. But perhaps this is the first time that you have seen anything related to the Blood of Dawnwalker. So, Dominika, how about we catch them up?
Of course, of course. The Blood of Dawnwalker is the first chapter of a brand new role-playing saga created by us here at Rebel Wolves. And it's a dark fantasy, narrative-driven, epic adventure. You know, and it's
vampires.
full of twists and
Medieval
it's yeah, it's great.
It is going to be quite the game. And if you didn't see the previous stream, perhaps you can check out the YouTube channel as well. The Dawnwalker YouTube channel has all of the information from the previous stream. You will be able to learn more about the world and also like the main concepts of the game as well. But that was last time. Dominica, we know why everybody's here today, right?
Yeah, we do. And we have a lot to show you and a lot to talk about. So why don't we just jump straight into it?
No. We have to tease them at least a little. Of course, we are going to show you some gameplay, but we've got to pull it back just a tiny bit. Let's give them an overview of what they can expect, right?
Okay.
So, first, straight out of the gate, it is that gameplay.
Yes, you'll see 20 minutes of gameplay in total. We are going to show you a fragment of a quest, but we will be focusing on the gameplay features and not on the story, not to spoil anything for you. You'll see 2 examples of how we can approach that one quest. First, from the day perspective, with Cohen as a human, with his sword fighting skills and magic, of course.
Yeah, it's medieval
and
times
then
and you're
during the
blade.
night, with some vampiric abilities at his disposal.
Looks like you're going to get to see a little bit of everything. And what you're going to see, all of it is taken in engine, right?
Yes, we recorded it on PC, on a build from last week, actually. We want to show you what the game looks like right now. And yes, you'll see some glitches and imperfections, but this is not the final product, of course.
Absolutely, makes sense.
You know, we'll be entering the beta stage of development soon, so we have a lot of polishing still to do, including next iterations of animations, lighting, visuals in general, and optimization, of course.
Of course, but I think it's really refreshing that we're going to get to see where the game really is right now, rather than where
Don't do
maybe
that.
it might be if we weren't using the engine.
Yeah.
I think it's really good
Stay full
and
screen,
deserves
please.
some props for that. I think that's
I need
really,
to
really cool. But
need
of
you to
course,
stay full
we are not just going to give you gameplay and send you off into the night. That would be crazy. We have some very, very talented devs here at Rebel Wolves, and what we're going to do is we're going to get some insight from them. They're going to dive deeper into all of this content, all of the footage you're going to see. They're going to talk more about the magic system, traversal, and of course, the combat as well. But there is more. It would not be a Rebel Wolf stream without an extra special performance, right?
It will be super special. I cannot wait for you guys to see it, but that's not all.
True,
That's
it
not all.
just keeps coming.
Yeah.
In the last couple of weeks, we've been hosting a Q&A over in the Discord for the Blood of Dawnwalker, and Dominica and I are going to do our very best to answer as many of those questions as we can throughout the course of the stream.
Yeah.
We will also have some people checking in on the live chats, so do get some questions there. You never know. They might just make it through to us.
Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's see some gameplay of the Blood of Dawnwalker. And for those of you wondering, yes, it will be available in 4K on YouTube right afterwards.
Nice.
Take it away.
Pre-beta version of the game.
Hello, my name is Daniel Sadowski and I'm the design director at Rebel Wolves. I would like to welcome you to the Blood of
looks pretty
Dawnwalker
as fuck.
summer gameplay video. Our game is a story-driven, open-world dark fantasy RPG
Open world,
set
okay.
in medieval Europe. The game is currently in pre-beta stage, and what we are going to
gorgeous
show you
mountains.
is just a
Jesus.
part of one of the mid-game quests. It's a really cool story involving legendary swords and a haunted almshouse, but today
Haunted house.
we'll focus on showcasing our gameplay systems. We're starting on the outskirts of Svatro, the
Rescue your
game's
family,
largest
22
city
days
and the
left.
capital of Vale Sangora.
That must be
From
the main
here,
mission.
we could head anywhere the eye can see, explore ancient ruins, or sabotage vampire blood transports. But it's not just about where or when you go. It's also about how you approach the main quest and shape the story, making each playthrough uniquely your own. For now, we're following the road. Cohen is on his way to the city's cathedral, chasing leads about a powerful weapon said to be hidden in its crypts. But first, we'll have to deal with some bandits who camped out by the main road. Traveling through Vale Sangora is never boring. The world is dense with quests, random encounters, and locations steep in lore. This will be a great opportunity to show you our combat system. Our goal was to make the player feel like a real swordmaster who closely observes his enemies. We'll begin this fight by using acrid dust to stun one of the enemies.
Okay.
Now, when you attack,
kinda
you
For
choose
Honor
one of
style.
4 directions: up, down, left, or right, in order to hit the opponent where he's unable to parry. And similarly, when defending, you have to take note of the enemy's intent and the direction of the attack. On the left side of the screen, just above Cohen's health, you have activation charges that will be filled in with each successful attack, block, and parry. Once they are full, you can use one of the active abilities which allow you to take a more tactical approach to fighting. We started the fight by throwing some acrid dust. And now let's cast Burning Blood. It's a hex which boils the enemy's blood and burns their skin, dealing physical damage over time.
That's nasty.
Alright, time to finish this fight. Let's use the final activation charge to cast the artery attack, which actually decapitated the last opponent. Our hero quickly
Bro, where's
dispatched the
your head at?
bandits, so let's loot a few items they've left behind and open the inventory.
Okay, I'm already game.
First of all, let's replenish our health by eating something. And then take a closer look at this cool-looking weapon we just picked up. Ah, it has better stats than our current weapon, so let's equip it right now. We've also leveled up,
to the chopper.
so let's use this opportunity to spend the newly acquired skill point in one of Cohen's skill trees. The skills in the Blood of Dawnwalker are divided into 3 trees. One for human, one for vampire, and one shared between the 2.
Oh, okay.
We also have an active abilities panel. We can use it to unlock additional abilities to use during combat. Note that during the day, the health bar is not regenerating. You need to find consumables like the one
And
we've
during the
just
night it
eaten.
does, 'cause you're
The
a vampire.
hexes we've just used also consume some of Cohen's health. Be aware of that. The way our magic system works, there's always a price to pay for manipulating reality.
makes
But
sense.
we can make it sting a bit less. Let's level up the Frugal Witchcraft skill, so next time we'll cast a hex, it'll consume fewer of Cohen's health points.
Oh, there you
Now that we've wrapped up the encounter with the bandits, we can be on our way to get inside the city. Right now, Cohen hasn't done enough to ruffle the Vampire Lord's feathers, so the gods will just wave us through. But the more damage you cause, the more suspicious and aggressive they'll become. So when you play the game yourself, you'll have to decide whether you want to challenge the vampires openly, or lay low until you're ready to strike and surprise them.
go. Interesting.
It's even bigger than I remembered. And it's grander than before. They're putting in new stained glass. The Knyaz doesn't deny the old fetish.
Out of my face.
This is the rich district of the city, Silberkreis. There's also Altenmarkt, Neustadt, and the Middens. Each of the boroughs has its own feel and character.
Get your stinking ass out of here.
I was just passing through.
This game has a definite
I got tired.
combat system similar to For Honor.
Looming high over the city is
But I don't
Brensis's
know, this
castle.
feels
Greifswald.
different as far as
He took it over when he slaughtered the human ruler of the valley,
Kind of
Skander,
Assassin's Creed,
as shown in the trailer we shared with you earlier in January this year. In order to complete the main quest and save your family, you'll have to storm the castle, alone or with help of friendly NPCs. We could do it right now if we wanted, but it would be super challenging.
Considering you're such a low level, yes.
For you, my friend, go home.
Oh, let me. I just want to. Oh, let me in.
You made a mess, and it's not that kind of inn.
Let's check the map. The cathedral is really close. There's plenty of other places to see and things to do here. A couple of inns, a medic, a blacksmith, an armorer, and other merchants.
Makes sense. Pretty standard.
You can see that not only the vampires came out of the shadows. This creature on the right is called an Uriash. Look around, especially at night, and you'll learn humans have lots to fear, not just the vampires.
Ooh, interesting. other mythical beings that kill humans.
And here we can see guards pounding on some poor guy's doors.
What is it about?
Singing songs that mocked him and the faith.
Who told you this nonsense? Was it Livia?
Interesting.
It's just one of many different community scenes we're implementing in the game. Watch them closely when you play, as they might point you to new quests and hidden treasures, or signal changes in the game's world.
Oh, that's a nice little thing. I like that.
Humbly.
I like that a lot.
I don't want to say it, Mum. It's a prayer. It's what we have
Kind of fable-esque. Everything you do changes everything around you.
Humbly beg of thee.
Hello, chicken chaser.
Okay, we are at the cathedral gates.
That is up there.
Again, since Cohen isn't yet wanted by the vampire regime, and it's daytime, we can simply walk inside.
That's funny. I like that. It's almost Shadow of Mordor-esque.
The baptism of a newborn is a solemn moment, doubly so. A new life joins our flock, bringing happiness to its parents and to the congregation. Natus ex sanguine est, alitur sanguine, et in sanguine morietur. Ego te baptizo in nomine Dei. Amen. Don't I know you from somewhere, young man? Laslia, maybe?
That's right. You're mistaken.
I'm sorry, but you must be mistaken.
Am I? Perhaps. Perhaps. My memory isn't what it used to be. Come with me. I'll take your confession.
Thank you, but I have no need for confession.
Ah. So you deem your conscience clear?
Yeah?
I wouldn't go that far. But I'm sure you're a busy man, Father. So while I appreciate the offer, I feel that my soul shouldn't be your priority.
I won't press the matter. You are quite correct. I have many other duties to attend to. But please remember that in order to be saved, we all need to repent. Myself included. I hope we can speak again soon. Good day to you, Cohen.
Knew his name. I don't remember.
What we saw right here was just one of many cutscenes we recorded for the game, which smoothly transitioned into a dialogue scene. We use cutscenes to highlight key scenes or showcase interesting bits of lore. Like this blood baptism. Creepy, isn't it? The core feature of the Blood of Dawnwalker is the dual gameplay loop. Remember, Cohen may be a human during the day, but he turns into a vampire at night and has a different set of skills at his disposal. And this is just one variable that affects our quests. Depending on when you tackle a particular quest, what choices you've made earlier, whom you befriended, or whom you've angered, your gameplay and story experience will be very, very different.
I like that.
So each
Like
quest
Fable
is a
on crack.
complex structure with multiple possible paths leading to the end goal. We maximize players' freedom and agency, offering you a narrative sandbox to play in. I wonder what secrets may be concealed up there, just beyond Cohen's reach. And how do we get there? It's impossible to do during the day, but come night, it's an entirely different story. Let us explain what we mean by taking our current quest as an example. During the day, we got inside the cathedral without any problems, since it's open for all to see and Cohen doesn't yet stand out from the crowd. The scaffolds, though, are outside of his reach. But climbing them won't be a problem for the vampire, who has many more exploration abilities at his disposal. Bear in mind, Cohen has not completed the quest yet. What's more, there are still a few clues to be found in order to solve this story. It's worth mentioning that narrative sandbox also means that we may completely abandon this quest and follow a different path to defeat Brensis. For today, we're focusing on the gameplay part, so let's see how we could tackle this particular quest during the night.
Alright.
We're starting right after dusk, as a vampire, on the rooftops of Svatro. Right now, we have 22 days left to complete this goal. This counter is always displayed and you'll be warned each time it's pushed forward.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of the time, and it's more of a resource you'll be spending than a racing clock.
Interesting. Kind of like Majora's
As a
Mask
vampire,
style.
you'll see and experience the world from a different perspective. You can travel quickly and easily access places beyond the reach of regular humans. Let us show you what we mean. This is Shadow Step, a unique vampiric ability allowing Cohen to jump to almost any place within his reach. Now, let's take a good look around using the focus mode.
Blood.
This ability highlights objects of interest and loot. And there is something right here. This time, it's just some items to grab, but on other occasions, who knows, you might come across a hidden quest.
I like it.
Looks like our health is quite low. This is because, as a vampire, your health bar also represents your hunger level, and you start each night thirsting for blood. Remember, you have to quench this appetite in order to make full use of your vampire abilities, and rein in your monstrous nature around NPCs. Otherwise, you may end up draining someone important, which may lead to unpredictable consequences.
That's a
We'd
nice
better
little
feed them.
caveat.
Maybe on someone who is standing all alone.
That's actually
Like
pretty
this
cool.
drunkard. Let's grab him and use Voracious Bite ability. Unless you lose control due to hunger, you get to decide how much blood to drink. You can drain just a bit and knock your victim unconscious, or go all the way and kill them. And if you're adamant you don't want to hurt innocent humans, you can drink from animals and some other creatures.
Interesting. That's one way to
Finally,
go
we
about it.
are at the cathedral, but it seems to be closed for the night, and the
That's a nice
entrance
feature.
gate is well guarded. Let's find another way in.
Shadow step, baby. Super jump. Shadow step. Blood all over his face.
Shadow Step is not the only vampiric ability you're gonna learn during your playthrough. Cohen can also use Plane Shift to scale walls and even ceilings smoothly. This will allow us to
Spider-Man.
explore every nook and cranny of the cathedral.
I'm Spider-Man. That's what that means.
Blood to blood.
Better be quiet.
You shall become Kenya's prince.
Is that Voyeurs Xanthe?
His
What the hell is she doing here? What is she doing? Is that a ritual for the blood gods?
Ooh. Go up there.
They're covering up the old paintings. Why? One of the workers must have left it. Seems that the cathedral complex is quite big. The main building, cloisters, inner courtyard. The entrance to the crypt could be anywhere. Won't get anything done just standing around. Still.
This was a scene investigation, a mechanic we use to zoom in on and showcase key clues. This time we had a chance to learn more about the vampire's plans.
Oh, Batman. It's
Looks
kind of a
like they're
Batman
keen to cover
view.
up the old frescoes, so that's something we could take
Kind
a
of
look
an
at.
Arkham Asylum view
This
feel.
way we could learn more about the cathedral's past. Looks like we aren't alone here. Underneath us, there's a group of blood guards. Soldiers hooked up on vampire blood, which makes them stronger. And one of Brances's vampire allies. It's Xanthi, the oldest vampire in Vale Sangora, and quite a powerful lady. Let's descend and check what's going on.
Are we gonna talk to him?
Don't think I don't see you skulking in the shadows. Come out!
She is a very not nice-looking woman.
You're interfering with my task. Who are you?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Very well. I don't have time for interruptions.
Get
Let
him.
us dispose of him. Quickly! You withstood it. Fascinating.
Cohen is using his claws to attack when in vampire form. Blood guards are dual-wielding opponents. Their attacks are pretty strong. Of course, even when fighting with claws, combat is still directional. Don't worry, Cohen can still use his sword as a vampire.
You haven't lived long.
But as soon as you want, you just claws seem to do more damage.
Only after defeating all three of the blood guards, Xanthi deems Cohen worthy of a challenge, and she descends to face him. She uses her blood control powers to cast a multitude of attacks, like her blood whips, that hit Cohen from left and right. Xanthi is protected by a powerful vampire ability. Once her stamina runs out, Cohen will have an opportunity to strike and deal some damage.
There you go.
But be careful, cause Xanthi is quick to counterattack and she will also try to restore her blood. Meanwhile, look at the indicator just below her health and stamina. It's a timer for the boiling blood skill that you've seen in the CGI trailer. So, if we don't hurry, the timer goes down to 0 and Cohen will eventually explode.
Oh god.
And we're dead.
Oh.
Remember, we were only mid-game here, and Xanthi is one of the game's most punishing enemies. Defeating her right here and right now is very much possible, but it would be hellishly difficult.
Okay, hurry up and
A
go
fun
do it.
challenge for hardcore players.
And we
That's amazing.
are back, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as
I
I
like
did.
that.
Now, I have been lucky enough to see this footage quite a few times now, and I feel like I get excited over something different every single time I see it.
And you're going to probably watch it
Actually,
again
this
after the
game's gonna
stream,
consume
aren't
way
you?
Okay, you know me too well.
Okay, so what's your favorite part so far?
So far, I think the day and night cycle, the fact that the same quest can feel so different if I complete in the day.
Right.
I could be walking into the cathedral, no problem. I meet suspicious priest man.
Florin.
That's it, suspicious priest man. But by night, I can't walk through the doors. I have to jump through the rafters, and well, Florin is nowhere to be found. But Xanthe and her bodyguards are staring me down. It's
Yeah.
just so different.
Yeah, and it is just a small part of it because we could go back, load the game, and try to explore the cathedral without drawing anyone's attention. We could also try to get to Xanthi when she's not surrounded by the blood guards. And just like other vampire allies of Brancis, she also has her own quest line. So we could try to explore that and, you know, find out more about her past, her motivations, and maybe even try reasoning with her.
Maybe.
She does not look reasonable. I'm not gonna lie. She does
Nothing
not look
reasonable
reasonable, but she does look scary, so I will do my best to reason with her. That is a great idea. even within the day and night, the fact that so much can change based on what I do, I think that's really, really fun. It feels like it's going to be so different each time.
Yeah. With the narrative sandbox, you just weave together all these different stories and create your own unique adventure. So when, how, or if you decide to explore a quest really does matter for you, for your experience, but also for the world and people living there.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of changes in Vale Sangora, but you mentioned people, and we promised the people, you, that we would answer some of those questions, and I came prepared.
Did you?
So, this first question, I'm going to put you straight on the spot here.
Let's go.
And it comes from, I hope I've pronounced your name right, I'm so sorry if I didn't, Thrassel. And it is the big one, because it talks matters of the heart. Will the Blood of Dawnwalker have any romance mechanics? And if it does, how will they affect the story?
Okay, so this is a very popular question indeed, right? So yes, there will be 3 romance options, and you know, Cohen is young, he's going on an adventure, he'll meet a lot of people there, and it's only natural that he can develop some feelings and bonds with other people, right? Of course, it will be purely optional, and it will affect his story, but on a more personal level.
Okay.
Makes sense.
I can't wait to see people start shipping Cohen, I'm going to be honest, and I will be rewatching this afterwards to see what you're all saying. So, live chat, I need hashtag Team Brentsis everywhere immediately. Sorry. I need it, and I will accept no, absolutely no apologies for it. But we want to get through these thick and fast. And our next question here comes from Chris, and very conveniently, it is sort of time related. So, Chris wants to know, how will players differentiate between a quest that will progress the day-night time mechanic and those that won't?
Okay, so this will be always made very clear to you. It will be marked with this small hourglass icon. You could actually see it in the gameplay a moment ago during the dialogue scene with Florian the priest.
Suspicious priest.
The suspicious priest man. Yeah, so if we chose the confession option, the time would actually push forward, and it works the same with quests. So
that's a nice little
you'll see exactly how much time will pass when you complete any given quest, and even part of that quest. So you can actually make some choices. You can decide on your own, you know, make an informed decision if you want to, of course. And if you just want to explore the world for a while, relax, time will not move at all.
I like that. I was worried initially, would time be something that was constantly over my shoulder, worrying me, ticking away, but it's a resource, right? Not a restriction.
Exactly.
And I think that's so cool, because you can choose to spend it, but if I just want to explore Vale Sangora, I want to go for a wander and see, I can do exactly that. That's how I want the time mechanic to feel, so that's exciting.
Okay, well, then you can
now,
go play.
we have got so many more questions. The list goes on and on, but we promised you more than just that, and I think it's a perfect time to send people over to those wonderful Rebel Wolves devs to give us a little bit more insight.
Yes, and we will meet now with our senior quest designer, Patryk Fijałkowski, and layout artist Zuzanna Suska, who will tell you more about magic. And then our design director, Daniel Sadowski, and senior combat designer, Janek Tyszka, will jump into the topic of traversal and then, of course, combat. Take it away, guys.
Take it away. Get dressed, please. No, it's cold. The hell?
You know what? I'm really glad that it's daytime.
Really? Why?
Well, because I would just freak out in the woods at night.
No kidding.
Right? Just too many creepy stuff in the dark. But I guess it's a good place to talk about magic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know about you, but I really do believe in magic. But the kind of magic that we have in our game. So, more dark and ritualistic rather than glowing effects and rainbow auras.
Yeah, that's actually what I really like about our approach. that magic feels dangerous, like something you just shouldn't tamper with.
Oh yeah.
It's, I don't know, more organic. It revolves around blood or heat or the way the air pulses and distorts.
I think it ties to the world itself. Some places just feel different. They're connected to magic somehow or have remnants of it. You will feel it when you enter. Like old spell-casting grounds, cursed sites, they all stand out.
We even build specific cues for those spots, subtle signals that something just not quite right. You'll notice things like moths behaving in oddly mysterious ways, a natural fog, warped light, sometimes even some visual distortions. They are small things, but they will let you know that this isn't just another piece of scenery.
Yeah, okay, stop here, Patrick. Ever get that feeling that someone is watching you, even if you're like totally alone?
Well, just one of the many reasons why I don't like woods at night.
Okay. I think this is kind of the feeling we want to go for in our game. So it's not about what you see, it's about what creeps under your skin.
Right. And speaking of skin, Zuza, I think it's worth mentioning that in order to even cast spells, Cohen has to literally carve runes into his own body, like a twisted tattoo sleeve, which is insane, but also, not gonna lie, pretty metal.
Carving rune into your own flesh is bold, brutal, and there is no going back.
Nope.
But you need to know how to do it right.
Yeah.
And this knowledge is scattered around the game world. So you go explore, you find forgotten spells, and bit by bit you grow stronger.
Yeah, that's right.
One thing I really love about the magic and the spells is that every single spell can be upgraded. So you're not stuck on level 1 forever. And every time you unlock a new tier, it really feels like you're evolving, not just going through the motions.
And it's not a combat-heavy magic system, right? It's more strategic. Many spells revolve around support, buffs and debuffs.
Yeah, and here comes my next question to you, Patrick.
I'm listening.
Do you have your favorite spell?
Oh, well, there are a few. Rapid Scarring is one. I think it's interesting because it's more of a trade-off.
Oh, yeah.
Cohen's runes beat hard for a moment, and while doing so, Cohen's health replenishes, but at the same time, the maximum HP temporarily drops.
Oh, yeah. Risk and reward. So makes you think twice before you use it.
Exactly. But, you know, we also have combat spells, like Burning Blood, for example, which I think has a really appropriate name.
Totally. Enemies start screaming in pain right away. Their skin breaks out in blisters, and if they die while it's still active, boom, dealing heavy damage around them. Delightful, really.
And nasty. And useful in crowds. So do you, Zuza, have some favorite spells? Besides Burning Blood, obviously?
Well, I think Feral Mind.
Ooh, nice.
Because it's really oddly satisfying seeing your enemies under cast of this spell. Their head and neck start rotting, eyes turn white, and they just snap. Start attacking everything around them.
I really dig the way how we show it visually. They're like wild animals.
Yeah, but that's just the beginning. Because we have even non-combat stuff like Compulso. Cohen can literally drag secrets out from the dead.
For me, as a quest designer, this is really an awesome tool to tell stories. It's always optional, but if you use it, you may uncover different quest branches, gain some valuable info, or sometimes even flip the context of an entire plotline.
It's definitely different.
What's important here, though, is that Cohen is a Dawnwalker. So he can use those magic spells only during the day.
Because then his runes are active, like bloody and raw, but at night they heal because of his vampiric skills. So they become just scars?
I think this is one of the key elements of being a vampire. It's that they just don't use magic. I mean, even if they're powerful creatures, their power comes from a completely different place. I don't know, maybe we can say that it's rooted in their instinct?
Either that, or they absorb it by draining another vampire. So it's really a completely different experience than using magic. And we really want to show what it's like for Cohen to live between those two realities, not just visually, but in how he experiences the world.
Yes, thank you. Love you.
You know, I can't believe that already more than 3 years have passed since we started working on the Blood of Dawnwalker.
Quite a journey, wasn't it? Especially since it's a brand new game with a brand new world and brand new characters.
Yeah, we had to figure out everything from scratch. What the game's about, what the world is, who Cohen, our main hero, is, and of course how it all fits together.
Yeah, we really did our best to create the world which feels real. The city, all the villages, it all feels pretty unique.
Yeah, Svartrau, for example, has this urban medieval atmosphere, which we contrast with quiet villages like Laslia, where Cohen is from.
Well, we also have swamps, forests, mountains, caves, ruins, and everything is there for a reason, to, you know, tell the story. I even have my favorite tree.
Yeah, well, the narrative does go deep, doesn't it? And I mean, that wasn't the only thing that was important to us. Every game element had to make sense from a gameplay perspective as well.
Yeah, that's why we had to make exploration both fun and intuitive. So things like well-functioning map is a must-have.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about our game is that even from almost the very beginning, the whole world, the whole map is
Guys, has anyone seen my good decode?
That's what I love. You can just dive into the world and everything opens up. You can do what you want to do.
Reveal
and
for a new
there is
game
so much
out.
to do, and there's so much to discover.
Yeah, not just the settlements, of course. There are other cool places, like shrines, haunted sites, bandit camps.
Hidden monster nests or treasure spots.
Of course, and much more.
Fantasy
and I mean, the key is, of course,
Dawnwalker
observation
vampire.
and exploration, if you want to uncover these secrets.
Yeah.
But you never have to go too far before stumbling upon something interesting.
Which is actually the main reason we are here today. Cohen needs to reach those points of interest
I'm
somehow.
pretty sure they are.
Indeed, and since everything
be
in our
running at
game
all. I
is
have them
tied
pretty
to
low.
this duality of our main character, both human and vampire sides of Cohen bring unique elements to the game.
They shouldn't
Even
be
the
on.
way you explore
I'll have to fix
changes depending on time.
Yeah, during the day, Cohen walks, runs, jumps, you know, human stuff.
Yeah, but then the night comes and everything changes.
They should be off, so I gotta mess with my settings again.
So, night. That's when Cohen's vampiric side takes over, and he gains access to new vampiric abilities that were
Go
previously
get dressed
hidden.
for the day, please.
Yeah, when we were first talking about what cool things Cohen could do during the night, we were like, it has to feel like you're in the Matrix, you know? You plug in and suddenly you can do all of those cool things that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Bend reality to your will.
So, which of those vampiric abilities is your favorite?
I think for me it's Shadow Step. I think it really adds a cool layer to the game. And even in the early prototypes, it was just so fun to, for example, traverse the rooftops using that abilities. I would run a
I'm doing pretty
rooftop,
good.
jump
We're
into
just
the air,
watching this Dawn
shadow
of the
step onto
Bloodwalker.
another rooftop. It just made me
I've known
feel
about
real
this game for
powerful.
about,
Yeah, it's
I want to say,
extremely
like
cool.
8
But
months,
you know,
but
for
it's,
me, it's more of a plane shift.
You're a
The way
vampire
I
at
can
night,
walk
human
on
during
walls
the day,
or
RPG
walk upside
that
down on a ceiling.
really looks fun.
It makes me feel like I'm a hunter sneaking up upon a unsuspecting
Wait, no, I'm
prey.
doing good. Hopefully you're
Yeah,
having a
and
good
let's
day.
not forget
I know
about
normally I'm
Claw
not on this
Ride,
early.
which allows you to quickly scale down walls or mountain cliffs using
This game has
Cohen's
a lot of
vampire
great
claws.
concepts to it.
It's also super
I'm
effective
now
at
more
surprising
excited.
enemies.
Yeah, there are so many other abilities. One more, actually, allows Cohen to travel super fast through the valley.
Yeah, that's true. It's a cool alternative to the default fast travel option.
Yeah, and that's what's great. All the different
Yeah, the
things
game
you can
should be
do.
louder than me.
You can even
Right
solely play as a human or as a vampire. It's all up to your preferences.
And that's the beauty of it. No matter the playstyle you decide on, it's all about immersion and the freedom of choice.
And vampires.
And vampires.
You're talking about them, right? Yeah, this game, it doesn't have a release date yet, but it should be coming out here within the next year.
Do you remember
Yeah, I have it
our
that
first
set up that way on
conversations we
purpose
had
right
about
now.
the combat in the Blood of the Walker?
Yeah, I remember we had this very long list of ideas and things we wanted to achieve, didn't we?
Yeah, tricky thing, right? Whenever you think of dark fantasy or vampires, very specific stuff comes to mind. Same goes for medieval
I
Greece
appreciate you
or
thinking it looks
grounded.
good.
Yeah, and we wanted to achieve something that felt like real medieval
yeah, I was
sword
sitting back
fight,
a little
where
bit.
every swing, every block, it carried weight.
Yeah, it had to be challenging for sure, but also accessible and adjustable for difficulty levels. And that also makes perfect sense from the story perspective. You know, Cohen was trained by his father. That's all
Hey,
he
you're
knows.
good, brother.
He never
I get
picked
it.
up a bow, never trained with axes. Sword is his domain.
As is yours, actually, right? I mean, your real-life sword fighting experience brought a lot to the project, and the idea to add directionality to our game's combat, well, that was a true game
directionality,
changer.
very similar to
Totally.
For
We
Honor.
wanted combat to be both
And Assassin's
immersive
Creed, really.
and cinematic.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, you feel like you are in the fight. You have to watch the enemy, watch from which direction they attack, block that direction, and then counterattack correctly.
Guys,
You
has anyone
cannot
seen
just
my
start
good
building
Nico?
machine
Stop!
for the
Brother,
best.
I appreciate
And when
you.
more enemies appear, things get a little bit more interesting, don't they?
Yeah, combat is designed not only for duels, but for one versus many also. So when you are fighting a group, they are smart. They are not just waiting their turn. They swap around, switch positions, flank you,
That'd be
rotate
nice. That'll
around
keep
you,
the,
work
combat
together
going
to take
really
you down.
well.
And I think that's what I love the most about our game. It doesn't just look cool. The combat is also tactical.
Yeah, we actually took a lot of inspirations from tabletop RPGs.
Hey,
and the
you're
question,
good, brother. I
how do
appreciate
wanna
you
do
coming
this?
by.
And it's pretty funny because at first we thought that complexity of combats could be a little bit too overwhelming for less agile players.
Yeah, but then iteration after iteration, playtest after playtest, we managed to find a
with
sweet
his head.
spot.
Yeah, on lower difficulty levels, combat still requires some focus, that's for sure, but
focus needs more
enemies
focus.
are more forgiving and you have more time to react.
That was important to us. We wanted the game to be fun to both more
I
experienced
appreciate you,
players
Thor. Go
as
get that
well as
grass
those
cut.
who just want to focus more on the story.
Yeah, don't walk around in the dark.
So, the combat at night. As a vampire, Cohen gains access to new options.
Yeah, you can switch to fighting with claws. It's still directional, but it's more instinctive, more savage. And of course, vampires can still fight with swords and mix sword combat with pure vampiric savagery.
We have even more differences between day and night from the combat perspective.
True, as a human, you can lay down your sword and let the fists do the talking.
Good old fist fights, when you wanna feel the weight of each punch, whether you're taking it or throwing it.
And during daytime, you have access to magic, which is inaccessible to vampires.
Yeah, as a vampire, however, you gain access to new cool powers, blood-fueled ones.
And speaking of blood, in the blood of Dawnwalker, health is of course tied to this dual day versus night gameplay loop that we have.
Yeah, during the day, it's simple. Kain has
Appreciate you,
standard
brother.
health bar with no regeneration over time.
But during the night, blood hunger kicks in.
Yeah, his health bar splits into segments, and once he drops into the lowest one, the blood hunger fully kicks in.
Yeah, and that's not just cosmetic. If Cohen is hungry and you're not careful, he may even devour someone he cares about.
So we have to make
that's
sure that it's never vague. Player will get visual and audio cues.
Yeah, and unlike daytime, health regenerates passively at night, but only up to a certain point. Beyond that, if you want to fully recover, you need to feed.
Yeah, if you want to fully regenerate, you need to
that's all
drink
right.
human blood.
People got
or
lives.
Animal blood, or even blood vials.
There
We do
is
what we can
also an
when we
option to
can,
drink
you know?
vampire blood.
That's the
But
best way to
let's
go
just
about it.
say, interesting things start to happen when you do that.
Yep, that's part of the process, right? They get what they want and then they leave, and then you have the people who
We shared a
get
lot
what they
today,
want and they
but
don't
there's
leave.
still so much more to look forward
I mean,
to.
it is
Exactly
what it is,
so.
right?
And before we wrap up, there's one more thing we
I
have
try
to
and
do.
keep in touch with everyone
Will
I've
you
ever
do
helped
the
or
honors?
talked to as much as I can. Yeah, right, Thor? I'm right there with you. If someone helps me, I want to continue to stick with them. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, the music is great in this game. Yeah, this is real people right now. This is just, I think, for, you know, just for fun, I guess. This is the actual music in the game. Oh, they've showed bits of it. I'll have to send you some of it. The game looks gorgeous. Go in there, I'll be in a second.
Welcome back, everybody. Dominica and I are still here, and we are ready to answer even more of your questions.
Okay.
But first, I have to talk about the combat system. We now know that it's directional combat, but it's focused on the world around Cohen and on his enemies instead of being introverted.
Yeah. So you can immerse yourself in each encounter, observe your enemies, their movements. And what I really like about this as well is that it's very responsive. So you can quickly change your mind and pick a different attack or block or use a skill instead.
I've been lucky enough to play around with it a little bit, and one of the things I really enjoyed about flipping the directional combat, I didn't feel like I needed to spend 6 hours working out how to do it, only to then struggle. It felt so intuitive and so quick to learn, but really enjoyable. It was fast, it was frantic, but it just made each fight worth being in. It was so epic. It was so much fun.
Yeah. We took our time to polish it and just make it, fun and just feel great to play.
Well, it felt it when I got my hands on it, I won't lie. And speaking of well-polished, speaking of epic, that new song as well.
It is a great song, isn't it? It was composed by our in-house composer, Nikola Kołodziejczyk, who is, of course, joined by a team of super talented musicians.
That's cool.
And you could actually see him in the video playing this weird instrument called hurdy-gurdy.
Okay,
Hurdy-gurdy.
we're going to move on as fast as possible to the questions, because if I have to say hurdy-gurdy more than once, this whole thing is going to fall to pieces. So straight back to the questions we go. I am still prepared. And the next question for you, Dominika, comes from Professor CGK. Now, this is a really interesting question. We've seen that obviously there's so many decisions in The Blood of Dawnwalker, but will some of those decisions make you more or less vampire?
This is such a great question, and there's so many layers to it because, so first we have the skill trees, of course, right? So you'll enhance your abilities and that will make you, of course, more and more of a vampire. Then we have the blood drinking. You can choose to drink human blood, you can choose to drink animal blood. And I would say that choosing human blood, will make you a bit more of a vampire, get you more to the vampire side, especially that you can also drain blood of some important NPCs. Next, you can skip time and try to play only at night, fully embracing your vampiric side. And there's, of course, the narrative layer, so all the different stories and quests and decisions you have to make and how you'll personally feel about them, but also what kind of consequences they might bring.
Okay, so Professor CGK, the answer was yes, 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 and yes.
And yes.
Fantastic. Okay, love to see it. Amazing. Next question, we're going to go through as many as we can, and it comes from someone who's actually quite active in our community Discord. It comes from Biggie. So thank you for this question, Biggie. They want to know, is there an alignment or a reputation system with the main factions? So the humans, the vampires, or will things change on more an individual basis?
Okay, so there are two sides to this question as well. And we have this global notoriety system. So basically, the more visible action you take against Brancis, the more reputation or notoriety you will gain. And Brancis will take notice and he will try to make your life more difficult, issuing all these different edicts. And they will affect you, but they will also affect the world and other people. But it might also open up some new possibilities for you, at the same time. I'm sure that enemies of the Brancis regime will appreciate your infamy here.
That makes sense. I mean, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So that does make sense.
Always.
That's on the broader side, but as you've mentioned before, each individual NPC will kind of have an impact too, right?
Yeah, that's the other side. So it's not strictly reputation, but again, your decisions will matter. So depending on them, some people might be more or less inclined to work with you or just to help you out.
Okay, well, it feels like there's going to be an impactful decision at pretty much every single corner. Next question. We are getting through them as thick and as fast as we can. Now, previously we'd mentioned that The Blood of Dawnwalker will have no microtransactions, which I am very much a fan of. We have a couple of questions that I'm going to kind of merge together from Solandis and Kaido. They've asked whether The Blood of Dawnwalker is going to have any sort of early access or demo, maybe tied to some sort of digital deluxe or something like that.
We're not planning any early access or demos. We want to focus on delivering a great experience for you guys at launch. And what I can also say is that we are not going to have any kind of in-game digital perks connected to pre-orders or other paywalls because we just want to treat everyone the same.
I mean, that seems reasonable. You shouldn't be punished for finding the Blood of Dawnwalker late, right? We have the first stream up on the YouTube channel. Maybe you find us in the third one. But I like that.
Yes.
But I think that's fair. I think it's nice to deliver the game as intended to all the players on the launch day.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. Now, this next question comes from, if I counted all of the names that have asked basically this question, we would be here until the full Wolf Moon. It is related to languages. Dominica, which languages will the Blood of Dawnwalker launch supporting?
Okay, so there is a lot. So I have a cheat sheet prepared here so I can read them all to you and not miss anything. So yes, so first of all, we'll have full localization, meaning like a full VO, subtitles, UI elements, everything basically in English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, and Polish. And then we are going to have the text localization, meaning subtitles and UI elements in Brazilian Portuguese, Mexican Spanish, Korean, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, Turkish, Czech, and Hungarian.
Jesus.
Fantastic. That is a lot. The cheat sheet was smart.
Yeah.
That was smart. Now, that is a lot of languages, but we know that it's a deeply personal experience when you're playing a game, so I'll ask the greedy question. Is there any possibility of supporting other languages in future?
We know that localization is super important to experience a game properly, and we're doing our best to have as many options as we can. And we will be looking into more. However, we cannot promise anything at this moment, so you know it might be not possible to have any other localization options for the launch or even later. We'll see. We'll let you know if anything changes.
Makes sense. Deliver what we're promising rather than promise and not get there.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. But much like Cohen, we are starting to run out of time. But we still have so many questions. So I know you're going to be answering even more questions in Discord after the stream, right?
Yes, yes. I do want to answer as many of your questions as we can without spoiling anything, of course. So head over to our Discord server if you want to learn more about the Blood of Dawnwalker. And I will be joining you guys in a few moments. Just need a short break first. Live streams are stressful, you guys, honestly. And yeah, but hey, no fire alarm today.
No fire alarm yet, okay? The studio is haunted. That painting has it in for me. I'm sure of it, but...
There we go.
But we don't just have Discord, of course, though you should be there. There are so many social that you can use to keep up to date with the Blood of Dawnwalker and all of the news coming out over the next year or so.
Yes, and you should have them all popping up on the screen right about now. And remember, the game is releasing in 2026, and you can wishlist it already on Steam, PlayStation Store, and Xbox Store.
You can indeed. That's where you should go right after the Discord Q&A.
Yeah.
But that is it from us. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here, Dominica, so thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Lionheart. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here, and we'll probably meet again for the next full Wolf Moon event. But before that, we will of course be sharing more info on our social media channels about the game, gameplay, characters, lore, everything, so make sure to follow us there. And while we won't be showcasing the game publicly at events this year, we will be attending a couple of them, starting with Gamescom. So yeah, stay tuned for more info on that. And we might have another thing or two to share before that next live stream, but I'll keep some surprises.
Okay, we started with a tease, and how else could we end but with a tease as well? However, that is everything from us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, and bye.
Bye.
All right, so they are done.